Hey guys, welcome back to Cherry and Timber Talk, and so excited to have you guys back once again. We did one show midway through the IPL, and in that we discussed a lot of stuff about how T20 cricket is changing, new players emerging on the circuit, and how can we look at Team India's World Cup dreams this year, specifically T20 World Cup, which is happening in Australia. And now we are back again. The IPL is over. Congratulations to Gujarat Titans for their maiden IPL victory, the new entrants, and lots to talk about in today's show. Rajit, Vash, Mahesh, welcome back.
Thanks.
Hi, welcome.
Thanks.
Alrighty. So the reason I'm wearing this cap today, guys, is to pay a tribute to Shane Warne, 4th of June. That's when he bowled the ball of the century, and I just thought it's fitting to kind of give our tribute to him. We might do a show for that as well, Mahesh, maybe next week. We'll get Ravindra in as well. But then I think today is a special day, and we all need to celebrate as cricket fans the ball that kind of changed the fortunes of Australian cricket and gave them a superstar, which we all cherish and really miss. In these times. I mean, it's heartbreaking to have lost him a couple of months ago, and yeah, it's amazing. All right, so coming back to the topic, guys, individually, how did you guys enjoy the IPL? Rajit, you go first this year.
Well, it was pretty long, to be very honest.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, the matches, and with 10 teams in the competition, there was even spread of people across, good players across teams. So what that did was we had a lot of close matches. And, Gujarat Titans obviously had so many close matches that if you have a weak-hearted person, you actually can't watch those games. But yeah, it was really exciting. Some of these games are really exciting. And, obviously, a good icing on the cake was Gujarat Titans winning the IPL.
and you were there, correct me if I'm wrong, you and Mahesh both were there at the stadium, right? For the finals.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was, electrifying. The atmosphere is electrifying. It's an experience one should really have. I mean, 1 lakh people in the stadium. Imagine, as a spectator, it was so electrifying. Imagine players playing in that park.
Yep.
It should be something.
Absolutely
That's
right.
what
Yep. Yes. So, Bhash, what do you make of the format change this year? I'll come to you for other points also, but in terms of the home and away typical format of the IPL taken away and the way the games were played, obviously thanks to COVID. But then, what do you make of that change? Did that impact teams? Did you feel that that was fair, unfair, or was it equal for all? How was that?
I think largely it was equal for all because it was spread across 4 grounds in Mumbai. So each ground there was no. Of course, Prebon, DY Patil, Wankhede, and I think there was not the cliche that win the toss. Even in Wankhede, we saw a lot of times that the team which batted first also won the match. So I think it was largely fair. I don't think there was much of an impact with the pitches or anything. I think they were all 2 pitches, and apart from the Ahmedabad pitch, to be very honest, it surprised me with the bounce. I mean, watching it,
Yes.
the likes of Prasidh Krishna, and I'm really excited next time since Gujarat have a good pace attack with Lockie Ferguson, Shami, and Yash Dayal. So I believe the Ahmedabad pitch was a bit of a surprise, but barring that, largely I think the pitches and the overall, I don't think there was any distinct advantage for any team.
Yeah, interesting.
So
but then do you think... Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, Prasidh Krishna, Bash. In fact, if you have noticed, Prasidh Krishna was the man of the series when India played West Indies in the ODI series at Ahmedabad.
Yes.
Yep. He has the liking for the Narendra Modi Stadium, it seems. Yep. Interesting. Yeah, I think it's definitely heartening to see such pace and bounce, and I think we all got really excited during the semi-finals and the finals, right? I mean, the eliminator and the actual finals, when the kind of bounce that he got, the kind of pace that he generated, and I definitely feel he's a future prospect for India. Mahesh, what do you think in terms of Test cricket?
Very good bowler, I think, but he needs a little more of consistency, I thought. But otherwise, I think he's a definite Test match bowler to me.
Yep.
But to me, the biggest disappointment of IPL 2022 was there was no super over.
Yeah.
At least 3 or 4 super overs, I thought. I thought some of the matches, when it was going towards the last ball, I thought there was a great possibility of a super over. Unfortunately, we didn't have a super over. But otherwise, I think the IPL was played beautifully. I mean, like what you rightly pointed out, just 4 centers to play all the league games. I don't think there was any distinct advantage for any of the teams because everybody was playing on pitches that were used. So over a period of time, if you see, later on the tournament as it progressed, the pitches were starting to behave, that the way it would behave otherwise. So, all in all, I thought it was a very good tournament, and Gujarat Titans came out on top because they were the most consistent of them all. I mean, they were the first team to enter to get into the qualifiers. They're the first team to get into the finals. So, the team that played well right through won the tournament.
Agreed. The other point which I wanted to kind of bring out because of the way the format was changed is that, I just feel, Mahesh, that now it's a lesson for all the teams that during the auctions, somewhere they need to take their mindset away from the home and away format and looking at the distinct home advantage to prepare certain kind of wickets to kind of look at now an all season kind of a team, all season or all wickets kind of a team wherein, they could perform in all conditions. So, I think that's something which is a key takeaway because, if you remember Chennai Super Kings of the past, always used to look at Chepauk as, grind the opposition with turning pitches and, have spinners into play. Dhoni loves that, right? So even certain other teams as well, even Rajasthan Royals of the past as well, right? The initial few years, they used to press low and low decks at Jaipur. So I think now that mentality is changing to kind of get in people who are all conditions players. And I think that's something which has come out of this IPL, which I feel is that, they need to have players who can perform in all conditions without looking at a distinct home advantage only.
Absolutely. I mean, otherwise, 7 matches is a reasonable number of matches. If you win, you get into the qualifier. You just need another match here and there to win. So everybody would ensure that the team that they chose was appropriate for their home ground. Like what you rightly pointed, Chennai Super Kings is a standing example. Mumbai would always have good pace bowlers because the track the Wankhede is nice, hard and bouncy. So probably it will come back to that next time around if it gets back to the home and away kind of a format. I'm sure it will come back, and Chennai would be just waiting for that to happen because they'll try and get in all their spinners. Like Moeen Ali will be very effective. Ravindra Jadeja, he didn't have a great IPL, but I'm sure next time around he'll be doing well. So they've got their spinners in place. So probably next time they might do better than what they did this time. But to me, I think when they sit for the auction, I think the head should rule the heart. There are a lot of teams and a lot of owners that go by reputation. And I don't want to take any risk. Everybody knows who those reputed players were and they did not succeed. I mean, they might have been great players in the past, but over a period of time, what happens is that newer players coming out and playing brilliantly. Look at the young Indian players that played. I mean, look at Abhishek Sharma, look at Tilak Verma, look at Patidar. They all played brilliantly. I mean, that is the reason why it was so exciting to watch. Young Indian talent really performed well. So to me, I think a lot more effort should be made by the scouts of these franchises by going around and picking up these kind of players. Because in about 2-3 years' time, these players are going to represent our country. Instead of actually going and trying and finding players who've been playing for the last 10 years, 8 years, just hanging along with them. I don't think that was a great idea. There were a lot of franchises who did that. I think this tournament would have told them what is good and what is bad.
The exception being Dinesh Karthik, right, Rajit? To what Mahesh said, I think he completely took us all by surprise. Not by surprise, but at least, in terms of, we all knew how talented he was, and, he's always been. But the performances that he put in at this stage of his career and completely transformed into a beast of a finisher, right? So I think exceptional.
Absolutely. I mean, Dinesh Karthik was a revelation, and scoring at a strike rate of 200 consistently over a period of 14 matches is no joke, and he did it very smartly. And I mean, obviously, he came in at the very end, and he had a specific role: 7 balls, 20 runs. Those 20 runs are really crucial. Correct. So I was kind of flipping through the whole retained players, and I'll leave the two new franchise aside. And on going through the whole list of all retained players, I could find only one player who performed out of the retained players, and that was Joss Butler. none of the retained players actually are in the top 10 run scorers also,
Very interesting. Yeah.
or even for that matter in the purple cap top 10 bowlers list.
Mm-hmm.
Gujarat and Lucknow, obviously KL Rahul, we expect KL Rahul is a T20 beast, and you expect a 500 run, 600 run season from him. But the only three players, if I may use the word retained or select in the draft, were Gujarat Titans players. That is Hardik Pandya,
Mm-hmm.
Shubman Gill, both had a 400 plus season, and Rashid Khan had a almost 20 wicket season, and obviously his economy rate was outstanding. So Gujarat Titans had those three players which were retained by Gujarat Titans are the only three who actually kind of did justice to their retention. And out of the existing franchise, it was only Josh Butler who kind of shined out.
Yeah.
All the rest, big names, big guns, kind of faltered to deceive.
Yeah, it's interesting, Bhash. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a great point that Rajit has made, and I think somewhere, I mean, I don't know if it's pressure or if it's kind of the expectations, wherein when players are either retained or bought at a higher price tag, it always backfires, and I don't know why, but it happens in the IPL a lot.
Yeah, I completely agree. One of the names that comes to my mind is Rishabh Pant. I think he's stuck in that because of his reputation now. He's so badly stuck. First of all, he's the captain of Delhi Capital. He's stuck whether to, finish the match, whether to, sort of, or he can just start, with gay abandon and just bat the way he used to. I think
Yeah.
this is weighing heavily on some players. I mean, in fact, even to an extent, I would say even Rohit Sharma, because
Yeah.
he hasn't been his fluent self. Of course, Ishan Kishan not performing has had he has had to anchor, but Rohit Sharma is at his best when he starts attacking the ball from
Yeah.
attacking the bowler from ball one. And
Yeah.
unlike other again, I feel that international IPL is should not be equated with international cricket, because in IPL you have at best three really good bowlers. It's
Mm.
also dependent on when you start batting. That's where, to an
Yeah.
extent, I feel a little bit that David Miller was lucky. Hardik Pandya was slightly luckier than the openers, because your because they have to face the best. I mean, no defense of Rohit Sharma and Kohli. I mean, start, but the thing is, it does ease you when you bat at number 4 or 5. It's slightly easier to in those middle overs where the bowlers, the captain tries the lesser bowler. So
Mm.
I think that's where that also, I believe, contributes, to that. That's where I was very disappointed with Pant, because I really thought that
Yeah.
Delhi had a good team, a good young team. I'm a big fan of Prithvi Shaw. I believe that he should be in our playing 11 above even Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul, because he's the only one who actually is fearless. If you see the England T20 team, the
Yeah.
way they bat, I think we need someone like him who just you just need two players, on individual brilliance who can win you the game. And one of them is
Mm.
Prithvi Shaw. Unfortunately, he had typhoid. I think he's
Mm.
really somebody we should, and I'm disappointed that he was not picked
Yeah.
in this, because again, a KL Rahul Ruturaj Gaikwad is a 36 for no loss power play. I'm
Mm.
a big fan of Rahul, the T20 player, to be honest.
Yeah, actually, it is. I mean, I was about to come to that point as well when Rajit mentioned about the guarantee of Rahul scoring those 500, 600. But again, Rajit, it's I'll leave this question to Mahesh as well to answer. And both of you can debate it out. In terms of quality over quantity or effectiveness over average, what do you feel about this debate? Mahesh, you can maybe start first. In terms of KL Rahul, there's a lot of debate around, him getting those runs, but the manner in which he gets those, does he leave it to finish too late? And sometimes does he really, kind of slow down the momentum of the game? And do you feel that affects the performance of the team overall as well?
Definitely. I mean, like what Bash said very correctly, Prithvi Shaw is one player who can attack and he wants to hit boundaries. See, you need to hit boundaries. In the power play, singles are not accepted. I mean, you've got 36 balls, you need to hit at least 10 boundaries. If you cannot hit 10 boundaries in 36 balls, then you're below the behind the 8 ball thing.
Yeah.
So, to me, if Rahul, see, Rohit Sharma is a fabulous player. Once he settles down, maybe it's a little difficult for him these days to hit from ball one. So he needs somebody like Prithvi Shaw at the other end. The reason why Mumbai Indians played so well was because of Quinton de Kock. We tend to overlook that, because Quinton de Kock, like Prithvi Shaw, starts hitting from ball one. So he has to take away the pressure from Rohit Sharma. And once Rohit Sharma settles down, there's nobody in the world who can play like him. I mean, he's so smooth, he's so nice to watch and all that thing. So we need at least one guy can play 120, 130 strike rate, but the other three players in the top four has to be above 150 if a team has to put up a big score. And with KL Rahul, Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, all, I mean, I'm not at any point of time criticizing either of the three, but all of them play similar form of cricket or similar form of batting. I mean, they're all in that 120, 130 zone. We need to have somebody who can go and probably, do a 160, 170 like Prithvi Shaw does. Prithvi Shaw is either he'll just take the attack away or he might get out. But then that's okay. That's what T20 cricket is all about, right? Yeah. And in 20 overs, I mean, the chances of you losing all 10 wickets is reasonably low. I mean, if you really have a bad day, that's a different thing. But otherwise, with 6-7 batsmen, you should be able to survive 20 overs by taking adequate risk. Okay, so I would not want all three playing. Probably if Rohit is opening, probably Prithvi Shaw is a great bat. As far as Rishabh Pant is concerned, the thing is that Surya Kumar Yadav, Hardik Pandya and Rishabh Pant, okay, by the time they come, if the top three have taken too many balls, maybe by the 10th, 12th, 13th over, and we are just probably about 75, 80, 85 for 3, it doesn't help us. Because that's putting pressure on the other three, right? Rishabh Pant's problem, according to me, is that he was not clear with his role. He had too many roles in his mind. He was a captain, he had to finish a game, he had to hold the innings together, too many things. And he just wasn't performing. I mean, he was a big letdown to me. I thought he should have played much better than what. He's extremely talented. But because of the fact of all these things, I think the first thing what they should have done is, I think he's too young to be a captain. He can be a good vice captain behind the stumps, okay? And tell him go out and play freely. Because if Delhi Capitals had to win, Rishabh Pant had to play a big role in it. If the moment that he was not in form, then they were all depending on David Warner and Prithvi Shaw to take it. See, if you see all the franchise that have done really went through is the opening partnership had to fire. Look at Butler. Yep. He was in the form of his life. So unfortunately, Delhi had that problem. And like what Bas rightly said, he had a bout of typhoid. He was out in all those crucial games. Anyway, luck was against them, and that's the reason for it.
So my second team was Delhi. I was cheering for them. I really think that the manner in which they played, even in the last IPL, they play a brand of fearless cricket, which I really
I for one thought that they made a mistake by letting Shreyas Iyer go, for sure. I felt that that was a huge mistake, because he was one of the reasons why Delhi became the team that they are in the last 2 or 3 years. They started performing consistently well. They started playing a certain brand of cricket, which kind of started under his leadership. And I just thought that, they should have continued with that, and rather than letting him go. So probably I kind of agree to Mahesh's point. Him and Rishabh being captain and vice captain was working well. So why,
why
should
Warren
go?
Exactly.
Yeah. And Mahesh was stressing on the boundary part as well. Unfortunately, Mahesh, that boundary count rule is no longer valid. So you can't win a World Cup with boundaries. So go ahead, Rajat.
So another problem with Delhi, they are very confused with their entire team selection. I understand they had a problem with injuries and COVID and whatnot, but they somehow did not utilize Sarfaraz Khan pretty well. I for one, was looking forward to see Sarfaraz Khan, because coming into this IPL, Sarfaraz Khan for Mumbai was in a rocking form. You take the format and he was in a brilliant form, but they somehow did not utilize his services. They went with Lalit Yadav initially, and then somehow they were confused. They couldn't even utilize Yash Dole, who would have been a good choice as an opener. Talking of Rishabh Pant, to be very honest, he hasn't really done well in white ball cricket, to be very honest. I mean, for India, his strike rate is 120, in the range of 120 in T20 internationals for India, and that's not a acceptable strike rate. So to be very honest, if I have to pick a wicketkeeper for India going forward, Rishabh Pant may not be a first choice wicketkeeper in the shorter format, at least.
Correct.
Speaking of KL, now is a reverse thing that works with him. His strike rate for India is in the range of 143, 144. But when he plays franchise cricket, it drops down to early 130s. And that's a huge difference when it comes to that
Yeah.
That 170 to 190 kind of a score.
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe playing for India, he knows that there are likes of there is Rohit Sharma at the other end. There is Virat Kohli to follow, Surya Kumar
Yeah.
Yadav or Rishabh Pant, Hardik Pandya, and maybe he doesn't have that cushion in franchise cricket, and that's why
But is it captaincy, Rajat? Do you feel that is kind of making him play the way he is, just like with Rishabh Pant? Do you feel that could be a factor?
So it could be a combination of factors. I don't think captaincy alone would be a factor because that guy has got immense talent. I mean, when he decides to play the kind of shots, only KL Rahul can play, and he's a treat to watch. I personally really like him, play. But yeah, like you said, it could be captaincy plus uh, the factor that he doesn't have that quality batters to follow in his franchise cricket. That could be kind of holding him back and pushing him to play full 20 overs, and that's what happened in the qualifier too. He should have gone a little aggressively, and they might have won the game. You never know.
And I think even the fact that they held Evan Lewis back for a long time, that did not make any sense to me at all. I mean, that was like a ridiculous decision. Yeah.
To be honest, Lucknow had quite a decent batting lineup this time. I can understand the Punjab team of last year, but Lucknow had Evan Lewis, Ayush Badoni, Deepak Hooda was his very good striking.
Marcus Stoinis.
Yeah, Marcus Stoinis.
Yeah, exactly.
So there was no reason for him not to play fearlessly. And unfortunately, this is the same thing. The captaincy, even Mayank Agarwal. I really think that in previous IPL, he batted really well as an opener.
As a player,
Yeah, and sometimes just captaincy, I don't know. It just didn't. Again, Punjab was also a very exciting team, to be honest. The likes of Livingston, Shah Rukh Khan, and that's why I'm disappointed that Punjab and DC didn't make it. When I saw them, the manner in which they played, you want these kind of teams to make it in the
underdogs to make
the underdogs and the ones who play this positive, fearless brand of cricket. That's what
Yes, agreed. Yeah, so coming back, guys, now let's focus on some of the stars or the emerging players that impressed you the most. Maybe Rajit, I'll start with you. Who were your top 2 or 3 guys who you felt that definitely have India playing potential? In fact, some of them have been picked as we speak as well for the South African series. But what impressed you the most about these guys?
So the top of my list is Tilak Verma. I was very impressed with Tilak Verma. I mean, he was the only shining light in the campaign for Mumbai Indians this year, and that guy has got tremendous flair when he bats. And obviously, left-handers are always attractive to watch, but the kind of composure that he showed when chips were down around and don't have any seniors around, and the way he was kind of taking the team forward, I really like Tilak Verma, and I'm sure he'll go on to represent India. So I think Mumbai Indian scouting team is really brilliant. I mean, to kind of find out Tilak Verma. Another one that I like was Mohsin Khan. I mean, Mohsin Khan, tall, left-arm fast bowler, bowls at a decent pace, generates good bounce. He was really good. Mohsin Khan was really impressive, and he really troubled top batters. I mean, Faf du Plessis, to trouble Faf du Plessis, Joss Butler, Rohit Sharma is no mean task, and he was really, really impressive. So Tilak Verma 1, Mohsin Khan 2, and if I had to pick one more, maybe I'll go for a overseas player. That was Deval Brevis. He was brilliant. I mean, he didn't. I was surprised that Mumbai didn't give enough opportunities.
Exactly.
But the way he took Rahul Chahar to cleaners at Pune was outstanding. He was playing quality leg spin bowling, but he was really brilliant. So Tilak Verma, Mohsin Khan, and Deval Brevis for me.
Yep. Interesting counter here, Bhash, and I think I kind of agree with Siddharth as well that his captaincy definitely is. I mean, he's a very likable character as well, right? Mayank Agarwal, a very positive person, like you rightly mentioned, and he's done some good things. Again, certain things worked in his favor, certain things did not. But I think, like you rightly said, we wanted these kind of teams to succeed because they are putting in the hard yards. They're likable characters. They're good people, playing in the squad together. But it's just that something did not click for him, and I think that's where it kind of backfired.
True. I think Mayank. I think what happened is Mayank was his role could not be defined in the team because they had such players whether he was not sure of his own spot. Now of course, he had to sacrifice his spot, and then I think he has a slight weakness against spin. Unfortunately, barring Shreyas Iyer and Surya Kumar Yadav, our Indian players, even if you see Rohit Sharma and now Virat Kohli, we have struggles against decent quality spin. So, he was stuck at the crease. I think Mayank is far more fluent when he opens the batting, and, against pace, I think he's far more comfortable. Although in Test cricket, he did play spin very well. So that was a bit of a
exactly. Yeah, because in Test matches, he has done really well against spinners.
Really well at home.
Especially when Ajaz Patel took that 10 for as well, right? In that game itself, Mayank scored that 150 odd runs, right? So, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Coming back to the players, Bash, your top 2 or 3 picks.
So I think the first one would be Arshdeep for me. I mean, to consistently bowl at the death, the manner in which that he bowled, it was just a revelation, to nail those Yorkers. I think Bumrah in his prime, I don't even think Bumrah consistently could do this, the manner in which he was just a revelation. Like, he was a bank for over number 18 and 20 or 17 and 19. I think Arshdeep was the most impressive for me because, again, the margin is so small. If you miss it by a few inches, it's a full toss which can go for 6. Again, it can go into half for it. So I think Arshdeep was the most impressive.
If you remember, if I may just pitch in, Bash, if you remember in our show that we did mid-season, there was a big debate amongst all of us between Arshdeep and Natarajan, right? So I think now, if you see the end of the season on current form and performances, I definitely feel Arshdeep has kind of pipped over Natarajan in terms of getting into the squad.
I think secondly, I would say Rahul Tripathi, because of the manner in which he performed, he plays this, whether it be opening or whether it be the middle order, the manner in which, he, with the spinners, the inside out shots, the sixes that he hit to spinners, he was at ease with spin and pace. And again, a very selfless character. He seems to be one of those who he knew that he had the buffer of Nicholas Puran and Makram. So, the manner in which he performed at number 3, I think Rahul Tripathi deserved a spot also, to be honest, in this squad. I was a bit surprised. So I think I would say Arshdeep and Rahul Tripathi would be.
And a really good fielder as well, Rahul Tripathi.
Yeah, excellent fielder. So I would say Rahul Tripathi. And with overseas, I would say Tim David seems to be a beast. I hadn't seen much of him in PSL, but his 6 hitting ability seems to be second to none. The manner in which, of course, we've all castigated Rishabh Pant missed that
the review.
It was just Tim David that knocked Delhi out of the quarter. The manner in which he hit 6s, मैं सोच रहा था कि ये सिंगापुर के उसको कहीं हम इंडियन सिटीजनशिप सिंगापुर के लिए देख के कहीं कुछ बना देते हैं.
Probably must have played a lot in Hong Kong 6s.
I think Tim David, initially, yes, there was some weakness against spin, but the manner in which he hits, I think I've not seen a cleaner striker in the IPL since a long time. I would say these 3 are my picks, which is really exciting.
Yeah, just a question for you, Bash. I mean, maybe for all of us as well. Just say he's selected for the future T20 series. Where do you see him bat and why? Would love to know your opinions. Why did you go first, Mahesh, maybe?
If he's taken, he should bat up the order, according to me, because he's somebody who can actually score at a very, very quick rate. Okay, he likes to run between the wickets very well. So to me, he has to be an opener. If the opening slot is completely tied down, not below number 3 or last. I mean, not below number 3.
Interesting. Bash?
Yeah, I'd say number 3 too. I mean, of course, then you have Hardik, Sky, Karthik, Pant. So I would say number 3. And on current form, I guess, I think because opener, it's very.
Where do you see Kohli batting then? Opening the batting?
I know. I know. At current form, I changed my view. I can't fit Kohli into this team. It's difficult. I felt, barring those 2 matches against Gujarat Titans, he was all at sea. I mean, it was on current form. I really don't see him being picked. I know it's difficult.
You agree, Rajit, with Bhash and Mahesh?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, not below number 3. He's an enforcer. He scored at almost 160 in this IPL. In top 3, of course.
Interesting. Yeah, good question, Siddharth. That's a great point. If
Kohli, anyways, was not in my team.
Mahesh, your top 2 or 3 picks.
The foreign player has to be Tim David. I thought he was absolutely amazing. Like what Bash said, his 6 hitting ability reminded us of Chris Gale. I mean, the way he was smashing that ball. I mean,
Yeah.
it looked, the ground suddenly starts looking small when these kind of players bat. So to me, definitely, I'm a big fan of somebody who can bowl fast, because India for so many years I've been watching cricket, and I've always believed that, whenever I used to see these Pakistani fast bowlers bowl fast, you would always believe that one day Hamara bowler bhi has to bowl fast. And I think just because of that, I think Umran Malik to me is very exciting. I'm not saying that he's a finished product, okay, but he's definitely work in progress. If he can keep that pace up there and then just get a little bit of control and consistency, to me, he will be a bowler that can actually win us a lot of test matches.
Yes.
Because he can really run through. See, our biggest problem for years together has been to get rid of all the 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 have always been a problem for us. Who can get these kind of batsmen out? It has to be raw pace. Look at the number of wickets Imran Khan used to take against India. In the 1982-83 series, when he picked up 40 wickets, 10 wickets were of Dilip Doshi. 10 wickets were of Dilip Doshi. Because when you bowl at that pace, okay, they are 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have seen some players, I don't want to take names, they were scared of playing Umran Malik the moment he was bowling at 150 plus. They were leaving their stumps, they were very uncomfortable. See, nobody likes to play pace at 150, 155. You can always say he's a good player against fast bowling, he loves fast bowling. 150, 155, let me tell you, he's not comfortable at all. And this guy can regularly bowl at that pace. So to me, Umran Malik is definitely one of the picks that I would have. The third guy to me was Abhishek Sharma. I thought he played very well right through the IPL. Okay. The problem with him was, like Umran Malik, he was in the wrong team. He had Kane Williamson, who was opening with him, who was an absolute disaster, like most of our superstars. And then they always struggled. Whether they were setting or chasing, they struggled. So to me, if Abhishek Sharma was probably in a team like Lucknow or Gujarat, I think he would have been a real asset to them. He tried his best. He played very well. And I think in the future we will be able to hear more about Abhishek Sharma. So these three guys really impressed me quite a bit.
Interesting. Yeah, that's good. And I think one good thing about Umran Malik is also that he kind of takes the pitch out of the equation with that kind of pace. So it doesn't matter in which conditions he's bowling. Yeah, exactly. The airspeed kind of makes up for whatever the pitch you're playing on, right? And I think he kind of bowled really well in the entire IPL, except for barring a couple of games where he was smashed around. But that's T20 cricket, right? The pace will get you a wicket, but it also makes you go for runs as well, right? So that's a part of the package. So I'm not too bothered about the runs that he leads, but it's just that, like you rightly said, I think he's not a finished product yet for Test cricket. If he's groomed properly and not going the way some of our previous fast bowlers have gone, cutting down on pace, focusing on line and length, I would definitely not want that to happen for sure. I'm pretty much, happy with him being erratic but having pace, but at least getting us those wickets. That's pretty much what I would like to see.
We need to look after him quite well. We should not play him too many matches. I mean, you should keep giving him Bumrah. All these guys are valuable to us, right? You just can't tell them to play every single match, every T20, every ODI, every test match. They'll get burnt out. I mean, you need to give them adequate rest. You need to, if you can manage both of these guys now, I think Indian cricket is in very good hands.
Correct, exactly. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Bumrah, when Wasim Akram and, all these players at their prime, Brett Lee, they could beat the defensive bat. I have a problem now with Bumrah where, he's not, barring 2 matches where he was fantastic, where he, bounced the batsman out in the later half of the IPL. There was one concern that he couldn't beat the defensive bat as easily, with his slow Yorkers, he could disguise the slower balls. And, I think that's a bit of a worry, where, his 4 overs are going for around 30, 25, 30, but he's not been able to pick up wicket. And that's where, in T20 cricket, I personally feel that I would always have a person like, I would always prefer a Yuzvendra Chahal or, as an Umran Malik to take wicket taking. I think he's lost a bit of a teeth, whether it be, on these pitches. But again, I'm a little worried about Bumrah's form. It's been a bit up and down in at least T20 cricket.
Correct.
But Bashir, absolutely correct. I agree. that he's not been among the wickets. But look at it from the other perspective as well. He didn't have a good bowling partner at the other end. So the thing was
correct.
he had to stop the runs. So the moment his mindset is to stop runs, then obviously he's not trying to get a batsman out, which is a very wrong thing. I completely agree with you on that. So he was very effective when Trent Bolt was bowling from the other side, because Trent Bolt was putting pressure. Here it was very similar to what Anil Kumble had to do during the 90s. He had to stop the runs and also pick up wickets, and that becomes a little bit of a challenge. But you're right. I mean, he was not among the wickets as much as, and he was not bowling his Yorkers, which
Yes,
Bumrah's
I mean,
Yorkers are phenomenal.
even at the death, he like say if an Arshdeep or a Mohsin Khan, the manner in which, again, the manner in which they bowled, I think they were just terrific. I mean, just Bumrah was a bit of a letdown for me.
Kumble used to be our third seamer for most of the time in the 90s.
For somebody like Bumrah, I mean, the kind of lineup Mumbai Indians had this year, it makes a lot of difference.
Yeah.
As an opponent, I know I just need to see of Bumrah, and the rest of them I can kind of cash in. So that also makes a lot of difference. Why Bumrah's wicket columns were kind of pretty bad.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, I just wanted to bring out a couple of interesting performances from the winning team. I thought that Saha was kind of a silent performer for Gujarat Titans. The way he opened the batting, and it was a big surprise for me. Honestly, I've never seen him play that kind of aggressive brand of cricket. And I don't know. I mean, it was there to prove a point that he's still good enough. Maybe not in white ball cricket, but at least definitely I feel that yes, he's one of the best talented wicket keepers in the country, and he has a decent contribution with the bat as well. Yes, Rishabh Pant is the rock star, kind of a blockbuster character in the team. Yes, but I think Saha can still be banked upon as an additional wicketkeeper in the squad for sure. And I think he's a little hard done by looking at his age and kind of telling him that he's not considered for future selection. So I think that is one point. Another interesting, performance that kind of caught my attention was Psy Kishore. The way he came in late into Gujarat Titans and the way he bowled in those middle overs, and I think that made a huge difference, especially even in the finals as well, right? So I thought that he was slightly underrated, and I definitely feel he could be a good test match prospect for India as well. I think I'm just trying to bring the IPL and test matches together, but I'm just trying to think that, the way he's tall, his action, the way he loops the ball, the way he dips the ball, and I really kind of was impressed by Psy Kishore as well. And he's a good fielder as well, the way he took those catches in the final.
And if you have seen Venu, Psy Kishore, I've been following him consistently for Tamil Nadu in white ball cricket is doing very good. Yes. I mean, you be it 50 over format or be it a 20 over format, he has been a consistent performer. And he is also a pretty handy batsman. I'll obviously didn't need his services, but he's a pretty handy batsman as well.
Yes.
So I'm not really surprised he did well. He was actually set.
Yep. And Rahul Tewati, I think you could always bank upon him as a Gujarat Titans fan. I mean, that guy is made of something else, man. I mean, I was so impressed the way he finished those games with David Miller. Honestly, it's not easy, batting in those circumstances, especially in the last over. Yes, we have heard about finishing off games, but are we in a stage now, guys, wherein it's very common to see 20 runs scored of the last over? I mean, it was supposed to be like a near impossible task to do, say, 20 years ago, right? But now it's like the bowler who's under more pressure if you are getting it for a couple of boundaries. So it's no longer that that cushion of runs that is given to a bowler, and they are feeling okay with it. Yes, I have 20 runs to defend. It's like even Delhi, for that matter, Robin Powell in that game, he hit 3 6, and they were kind of thinking we could win this game 36 runs in a row.
If not for that catch by Evan Lewis against Lucknow, KKR, Rinku Singh would have taken KKR over the line.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Rinku Singh was another phenomenal player.
Rinku Singh
we forgot to discuss Rinku Singh. Yes, absolutely, guys. And he was a revelation, man. That those performances with KKR and all. I think he had a couple of decent partnerships with Nitish Rana as well in a couple of games ago, and I think that's something which he definitely did well.
What do you guys feel about Bhuvneshwar Kumar? He's now in this odd stage where, of course, he's now picked in the team. But again, it was a lesser batsman. But that over that he bowled to Bumrah, in the penultimate over that he bowled to Bumrah and beat a maiden. For me, Bhuvi stands for equanimity. I mean, he's one of those, most likable persons in the team. I've always liked
characters.
really want him to be in the squad. I really want him to do well. But again, I think he's gone. I think I don't see a place for him in the 11, to be honest, in the T20 World
Yeah.
Cup. But I just feel that, if there is, if this series, I think if he can do some magic, I think I just really hope that somehow, because he's the only one among these guys who can bat a bit. And
Yeah.
he's a good fielder, and he's just a level-headed guy even under pressure. So, do you think any
Very
chance?
cool
He
guy.
brings a lot of calmness and experience. Yeah.
Any chance of him
Agreed.
being in the T20 squad? I think it's a little difficult, but
Yeah.
just
Yeah. I think
he's a very
probably that's a yes.
See, the
The
moment
IPL has
Hardik
given us.
Pandya walks in,
Yeah.
there's a lot of balance that comes into the team. Then we'll say, okay, we need 3 good bowlers, 2 good all-rounders, we're done. Okay. I only hope that Hardik Pandya is fit for the World Cup. Let him not play any other game matches till the World Cup. I'm okay with it. But he has to play all the World Cup matches where he'll bowl also at least 2 or 3 overs in every game.
Oh yeah, the way he bowled in the final was just phenomenal.
Yeah, actually, I want to say that he was a man. Yeah, he was zipping the ball. He was man on the mission in the finals. Brilliant.
Well, 140. He was cracking 140.
Yeah.
He's a rhythm bowler. If he's in rhythm, he'll hit 140 without a problem.
A lot of the social media frenzies around making him a future India captain. So I'm not going to comment on that yet. I think it's kind of too early to call, but definitely impressive. And the way he led the team, for sure. The way he was so calm under pressure in the entire tournament, and I think it's heartening to see. Yeah.
The reason why I was backing him to be the captain is, see, captaincy did not put pressure on him. Look at KL Rahul, look at Rishabh Pant, look at the others. They were all cracking under pressure the moment captaincy came. Even Shreyas Iyer, he was not. But look at Hardik Pandya. He walked. First of all, he moved from number 6 to number 4, which I thought itself was a big decision.
Big move,
because it's a completely different role. A number 4 is a very different role from a number 6. He took up that responsibility. In some matches, I think he came at number 3 also, if I'm not mistaken. In a couple of matches, he came up the order also. And then when it mattered, he bowled. And he looked to be in control. In one of the matches, I remember Josh Butler was whacking the daylights out of Gujarat Titans. But it did not, perturb him by any stretch of the mind. He was cool. He realized that he can get things under control. To me, that is the reason why I was thinking that he will make a good captain. Maybe he might not get captaincy immediately, but according to me, he's our future captain. What do you say, Bash?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it also has a lot to do with the team atmosphere. I had a chat with Nishad, and that's where I thought, Gujarat Titans seem to be playing, the manner in which they played. There was this, they're really enjoying the game. There was never, they backed each other. The characters like Tewatia, Miller, Gill, for all his class. Yash Dayal, I believe, was also very quietly confident. They were just. I think overall the atmosphere. Gary Kirsten, Ashish Nehra, and Hardik. I think they made a great combination. Yeah, in hindsight, I think so. I would definitely, but I don't know. Till Rohit Sharma is around, I think it's hard to argue.
Rohit Sharma has to work on his fitness, otherwise he's going to be in serious trouble soon.
Yeah. And Hardik Pandya now causes issues with Jadeja in the playing 11 also for the World Cup, because Jadeja is not your wicket taker. He had started as an excellent finisher. I think his batting, but now I think with Hardik Pandya, we may even have to drop Jadeja in the 11.
Slightly controversial opinion. I probably might pick Chahal and Kuldeep over, say, a Jadeja. Either of them over a Jadeja, because Chahal definitely fits in right away, for sure. But I think if it's between Jadeja and Kuldeep, I probably might pick Kuldeep because of the fact that he can take wickets. I think that's something. On current form in the IPL, he was really good. I felt that he made a huge comeback, Kuldeep Yadav.
We know there's a tail. Only problem is our tail becomes a bit too long. That's my only...
But considering if Pandya is fit, if we are able to have 6 good batters, including wicketkeeper, right? I'm just thinking that might be an ideal combination.
Marshall is the only sort of all-rounder, unless Deepak Chahar is fit.
Correct. And that's another added advantage to have Deepak Chahar. And, if Karthik can bat at number 6, right, that adds a lot of balance as well. He's a proper finisher and proper wicketkeeper. And I think that kind of adds a lot of balance as well. So, yes. I think we debated this point in the last show in terms of who will be that all-rounder who will give that balance and extra batsman. Should we play 5 bowlers? Should we play, two kind of part-timers at what? So, yeah.
Renu, another thing we need to keep in mind for the T20 World Cup is it's going to be played in Australia. The grounds are big. You need good fielders. You need strong arms. Ravindra Jadeja scores over everybody in that regard.
So for that, we should do what we did in Australia last time around. Get him as a super sub. So a concussion sub.
I think Jadeja, the batsman, I think he's been phenomenal. Of course, this IPL was an aberration. But, even in the previous tour of Australia, Hardik and Jadeja, he could hit sixes on those grounds.
Yes.
I think Jadeja as the batsman has been, improved. So
it's a hard call.
Two all-rounders.
Yep.
Our team starts looking very different.
Yep. I think or do what
Gujarati hai, wahan sab kuch different hi lagta hai.
So I think probably if you see, guys, in the last T20 series, I think that's what Rohit Sharma was trying to do, promoting Jadeja up the batting order, trying to see if they can fit him as a proper, genuine all-rounder, so that we don't need to kind of look at that 5-bowler theory anymore, right? So I think that's something which he was trying to do anyways. So if that works out, then I think it might be great, because I agree with Bhash. His batting is so...
Works out, But if that works out, you cannot have Dinesh Karthik and Rishabh Pant both in the team. Only one can.
I would not have Rishabh Pant in my current squad.
Absolutely.
For sure. I'm pretty clear about that.
Absolutely.
Dinesh Karthik is my first choice wicketkeeper for sure. I would not have it.
But
Jadeja can be a great replacement for a left-hander for Pant.
Yes. But there is a tendency that Rishabh Pant, they're kind of grooming him as a future India captain, etc. But I mean, to be very honest, Rahul leads against South Africa and Rishabh Pant is his deputy. But those were the two least impressive leaders, so to speak, in the IPL. But that's the way it is. Rishabh Pant is definitely not the first choice wicketkeeper.
For sure.
Problem of plenty.
That's what the IPL has given us, right? A lot of headaches in terms of what do we choose, how do we choose.
India should enter 2 teams for the World Cup.
Yes, that's a good suggestion, Mahesh. We should. All right, guys. Thanks for your time. Great discussion once again. Nice chatting with you all. Thanks, Siddharth, for joining in and putting in your comments as well. Looking forward to some exciting T20 series now and the solitary test again against England as well. So, let's see what's in store for us for this year's World Cup. So, we'll be back once again. Hopefully with a topic around Test cricket now that it's season for Test cricket in England as well. So, we'll catch up soon. Thanks, guys. Have a good day. Good night in India. Bye-bye.